Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr. Speaker, can I start tēnā koutou to all the members of Tuhoe who are gathered here today? Can I acknowledge the Right Honourable Jim Bolger, former Prime Minister, and also His Worship the Mayor of Whakatane, Tony Bon, who is in the gallery. Mr. Speaker, this bill has special significance for me as the Member of Parliament for East Coast. It addresses some of the worst actions by the Crown in our history, and in part these events took place within the boundaries of the East Coast electorate. That boundary includes a large part of Te Urewera and other parts of the Tuhoe rohi, including the town of Taniatua, where I attended the opening of Tuhoe's impressive new ecological community centre and headquarters in March. It is also where the Crown will deliver its formal apology for the breaches of the treaty which this bill settles. We can already see the progress that Tuhoe is making in revitalising its community in Taniatua. This bill sets the groundwork. The Ngā Tuhoe Claim Settlement Bill provides commercial and financial redress to the iwi of $170 million. This will allow the iwi to develop a strong economic base and provide for more opportunities for their people. Importantly, Tuhoe's leadership have made clear that they want those opportunities for Tuhoe, not just for Tuhoe currently in their rohi, but also those who have, so that those who have left can come home. In this government, we are all committed to regional development. We understand that the regions drive our economy, and Tuhoe's attitude has been one of unwavering commitment to regional development, literally from the ground up. Mana motuhake redress relates to improved relationships between Tuhoe and the Crown and the delivery of government and iwi services to Tuhoe communities, and includes the Crown-Tuhoe Relationship Agreement signed in 2011, which provides a foundation for how Tuhoe and the Crown will work together. It includes the Social Service Management Plan, which governs the relationships with and the management and delivery of services by key Crown agencies and Tuhoe over the long term. And the initial planning is for 5 years of the eventual 40-year period. And it sets out how the Ministries of Education, Social Development, Business, Innovation and Employment, and 3 district health boards in the area will work with Tuhoe to address disadvantage and improve social outcomes in Te Urewera. At the beginning of this process, there were ill-founded fears in some corners that mana motuhake somehow means separatism. That was, of course, never true. Throughout the negotiations and the passage of this legislation, we have seen nothing except the growing of closer ties between Tuhoe and the rest of the community. And at the March opening of that magnificent community centre and Tuhoe headquarters was a huge Eastern Bay of Plenty, which was a huge Eastern Bay of Plenty community event. We saw that relationship between Tuhoe and the community personified by the celebrations that took part by the locals, and that depicted, of course, the maturing relationship. And I believe that this will be the legacy of the bill we're debating today. It sets the scene for a new relationship between the Crown and Tuhoe and clears the path for Tuhoe to contribute to the community and take an active leadership role in the region. This was first evident in the extensive consultation with other users of Te Urewera in order to define the different groups' expectations of and values for the area. And not surprisingly, all these groups shared a great deal in terms of the values of biodiversity, conservation and access. These values are now reflected in Te Urewera Bill. Te Urewera Bill is a unique solution to a unique situation, and it is very New Zealand. And I want to say in this third reading of the bill that there are from time to time, extraordinary moments in Parliament, and today is one of those. And they often rely, well, they always rely on extraordinary leadership, and as the Minister mentioned, and by courage, both by the government but also by members of the wider community. And this bill that sees its final passage through the House today represents an absolute determination by this government and by the leadership of Tuhoe to address the serious wrongdoings of the past by the Crown, but more importantly, to move forward positively for both the Crown and Tuhoe's benefit. And it is fitting that we pay tribute to the extraordinary leadership that people like Tamati Kruger and Kirsty Luke, backed by their trustees, have shown in these negotiations. But I also want to pay tribute to the extraordinary leadership in this House by Chris Finlayson, the Honourable Chris Finlayson, and by the Right Honourable John Key, who have led the political debate and shown the political courage to make sure that we reach this final reading here today and the passage of the bill. Yes, they were supported by Cabinet. Yes, they were supported in the Select Committee process by a cross-section of party members. And yes, in this House today we will have almost unanimity across the House. But someone has to start. And the Honourable Chris Finlayson and the Right Honourable John Key and Tamati Kruger and Kirsty Luke were determined. They were the people that made sure that we reached this place today. So the existing national park will be vested in a Te Urewera legal identity, a unique solution. And this reflects Tuhoe's view that Te Urewera has its own identity and has its own special values and interests. It recognises, as the bill states, that Te Urewera is also prized by all New Zealanders as a place of outstanding national value and intrinsic worth. Tuhoe and Crown representatives will sit on the board, which will provide governance for Te Urewera in accordance with the Act, while maintaining access for all. The legislation recognises and provides for cultural values associated with Te Urewera and will include key principles relating to the protection of biodiversity, natural and historic heritage, public input into the management and public access into the future. I'm particularly excited by the commitment from both the Crown and Tuhoe to work with the new board to seek UNESCO biosphere status for Te Urewera. This would make it the first and only biosphere designated area in New Zealand, and I can think of no more fitting spot. This would be a huge boon for the region, for residents and for tourism. This is not expressly provided for in the legislation. Instead, it is more evidence of the spirit of partnership and cooperation that this bill makes possible for the future. The benefits of such an approach for the Crown and Tuhoe and the region have immense potential. This is a significant bill for Tuhoe, but this is a significant bill for the Crown, and this is a significant bill for New Zealanders. And it is with great pride, as the Member of Parliament for East Coast, that I stand here today and commend this bill to the House. Kia ora tātou.
Neka whai, Terry.